Hello everybody and welcome to the NBL1 Show. No longer undefeated are the Bendigo women, but Ballarat men continue after brushing aside both Kilsyth and Eltham over the weekend. A superstar playing at the Melbourne Tigers, and I don't just mean our special guest, I mean in the women's side, and plenty more to get into as I welcome firstly Liam Santamaria. How you doing, big fella?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Yeah, isn't it?
The results didn't quite go as I expected.
Oh, well
on the weekend.
Some of us were correct. We will get to that very shortly. I also, you're a great motivator, and we'll get to that as well very shortly. But also, you are a very great person when it comes to getting guests and coming up with ideas, because I believe there were some text messages getting thrown around over the course of the weekend, and you were able to come through with the goods. Just explain that to me, please.
Oh, I got the word from Angus Glover from the Illawarra Hawks. Like, can you get Poz on the NBL1 show? Made a call, made it happen. Got the great man on the show.
Well, I'll tell you what, it makes it a lot easier when he's just tearing the NBL1 apart as well.
A couple of wins, a couple of big games.
And just for people at home, if they text us and say get someone on, they're not getting any call time, it won't happen. But if you're having a great start to the year, it will. Nick, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
You have had a nice start to the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I wanted to really do as soon as I came in here, and it's something I talked about with Brad and the coaching staff at Melbourne, and I've just been really happy I've been able to go ahead and have a good start, you know, and I think our record hasn't really reflected where we're at, but I think we're really going to pick it up in these next few games, especially with Jack Purchase coming back this week, is going to be a really good fit for us.
Just on that, sorry, Liam, you made the move from Ballarat last year to Melbourne. How come?
Yeah. I just thought this was a better situation for me. I'm always looking to go to that next level. I don't want to be a development player anymore in the NBL. I want to be on a roster. And just the conversations I had with the coaching staff, with Brad, you know, with Dane Pinot as well, I just thought this was the best opportunity for me and probably the best fit for me.
22 points a game, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. You're shooting 39% from 3. Now, we've got a whole bunch of clips here. They love to put together the clips that show off your athleticism and your bounce. But you've been pretty consistent from range as well. What have you been... Obviously, part of the off-season is developing your game, but it's also about showcasing what you can do when you're in your situation. You're trying to get a new NBL contract. What have you been most satisfied with so far with your play? And the second part is, what is the part that's eating away at you that you feel like you need to do a bit better?
The free throws are eating away at me big time. I don't know what's happening there. I'm kind of getting to the free throw line. I'd like to get there a bit more, but I guess when I'm missing, it's probably a good thing that I'm not really going there. It's kind of just dropping my percentage down a bit, but if I can fix that up, I think that'll be really good. And then three-pointers have been a massive thing for me because, you know, these days if you're going to play on the perimeter, you have to be able to shoot the three. Even if someone wants to put you at the 4 spot, you still have to be able to shoot the 3. So I've been pretty happy with how I've been shooting the ball, but can always get better. Those
conversations, you're in the periphery, of course, in NBL, you know, development player, something you don't want to be anymore. You want to be a full rotation player. And as we see a new team coming in, we've got 9, so there's another 10 positions there available. But what's the conversations you have with, say, the NBL recruiters or coaches or the NBL coaching staff you've had and worked under in the past? What are the conversations around your game and what you do need to improve? Is it what you just spoke of?
Yeah, it was kind of just being more perimeter-based. They wanted to be, you know, coaches wanted to be able to put me on the perimeter, guard pretty much anyone from 1 to 4 on the defensive end, but then be able to be a bit more versatile on offense, not just kind of have to have 2 ball handlers at the 1 and 2 and just rely on me to be athletic and just get rebounds and stuff. They wanted me to show a bit more and be able to do a bit more with the ball, be a bit more of a threat on the offensive end and at the perimeter especially, and that's what I've been trying to work on.
I wrote on the NBL website a little while ago that I thought you might be a good fit in Perth. There's that spot on the wing there, Greg Hire, sort of in that 3 spot where a guy like you could come in and I think fit really well. You having conversations with the Wildcats?
I am having conversations with the Wildcats. I wouldn't say that I'm thinking too much about them right now. They're looking at tape, but they have said that, you know, they're not really rushing into anything, which I completely understand. It is only May. There's a lot of guys that have come off the board in free agency, but they're guys who are really established in the league. So I just got to kind of keep working hard, keep playing hard, and just hopefully something will come of it.
What chance you land back in Illawarra?
Still kind of having conversations with them as well, but I guess it just depends whether they go with 3 imports or 2 imports, because if they go with 3, then that leaves no spots. And if they go with 2, then, you know, there leaves a spot, but I guess it just depends what they want to do with it.
How many other teams are you chatting to?
Probably 1 or 2 more, but those conversations I'd say Perth is the main one at the moment, but there's a couple other teams still kind of lurking around.
You're not going to do a Sean Long and tweet next week that you signed Perth and then have to retract it or anything, are you?
No, because I will shoot myself in the foot.
But what is your sell? I mean, we've seen you in the NBL, that you bounce and everything like that, and then in the NBL1, you're more of your well-rounded game and your ability to do a few things. What is your sell in terms of to teams out there to say, hey, I'm ready to be a part of your roster and to help you?
I just think that I just think I'd fit well into a team environment like that where, yeah, I am shooting a lot of shots and stuff in the NBL1, but I don't need to do that. Like, I can just play defense, I can just rebound, I can knock down the open three. I think I've showed that well enough so far, and then, you know, I can guard multiple positions on the defensive end as well. So hopefully that can be my selling point, but you know, I just have to see what happens.
Well, when you go into games, and this is an interesting conversation around leagues right across the world, but when you go in and you're trying to improve to get to the next level in the NBL and get more court time and get a roster spot, but you're also trying to fit in and win and win more games at the NBL1. Do you ever have an issue with, not being selfish, I'm not suggesting you are being like that, but do you sometimes find it hard to balance up being part of a team and making sure it's the right thing, but also showcasing what you've improved on and what you can do for the higher league as well?
Yeah, I mean, it is tough. Especially, I found it really tough last year on a team like Ballarat, where we had pretty much 7 guys who could go out and have 30, maybe even 40 on any given night. And yes, you're winning, but at the back of your mind, you're still wanting to go to that next level. You're still wanting to get an NBL roster spot. And you look at your averages, and that's kind of the first thing that everyone looks at. Even though stats don't tell the whole story, I'm sure a lot of people know that, but someone comes in and looks at your stats and they see, oh, he's averaging 10 and 5 compared to 22 and 9. They go, oh, okay, we'll have a look at him now.
It's reality.
Yeah.
We're not. Quani's not sitting in that seat right now.
No.
Now he's doing a good job for that team, but they are stacked, and the ball's not going. He's playing well.
Yeah.
The ball's not going through him every possession, and for what Poz is trying to do this off season, he's in a perfect situation.
Obviously, backtracking, but that's exactly what you started this conversation by saying, isn't it? Really, you want an opportunity to be able to showcase your skills rather than be not to say that Melbourne aren't playing some okay basketball and you're going to get better, but also a chance to have more of a focal point of the offense.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
You guys are 5-4 right now, 3 wins on the trot. But you're 0-4 against the top 8. What is it about your squad that hasn't been able to get those wins over teams like Bendigo, Kilsyth? You played them a couple of weekends ago, Dandenong, those teams.
Well, the first game against Bendigo, I don't think we really... they didn't have Deontay Burton, who's obviously a great player. I've seen the highlights and everything like that. I guess we kind of could have snuck away with that one. It was a really single-digit game. And then we look at Kilsyth and Dandenong, and we didn't have Dane. And that's just... We didn't have Dane. We didn't have 3 of our other 5 men who were all just happened to be injured or something on the same weekend. So basically, I was playing the 5 spot, which is not really ideal when you're playing against 7-footers like Sam Froling and, Chris Patton, Tohi Smith-Milner. It's not ideal. So I think we just kind of left that weekend how it was, and I guess we're just going to move on from there. Just
on Dane Pinot, of course, signed at South East Melbourne Phoenix, so we'll see him based in Melbourne in the NBL year. But 20 and 20 has been a regular stats sheet in the last couple of weeks for him. He's playing some really good basketball.
He is. He's just a workhorse. You just know what you're going to get every single weekend, every single game out of Dane. He looks very slight build, but he's really, really strong. He just works his butt off every single possession. There's not a single possession where you can't forget to box him out because he'll just somehow end up with the rebound. It kind of gets frustrating at times because the ball's like a magnet to him, especially when we're trying to get rebounds. The other guys in the team are trying to get rebounds. We're like, Dane, stop stealing rebounds off every boss. But he's really long. He's athletic, but he doesn't really like to show it. He just works so hard.
All right, your former team, the Ballarat Miners, as we just have a look around the rest of the league at the moment, are undefeated. They came and Southern Sabres knocked off Kilsyth the week before, so that whole undefeated matchup we were looking forward to was knocked away on the Sunday. But this game on Saturday night was pretty, 1v2, so it was going to be fairly highlighted. But they were really good. I spoke to a couple of Kilsyth boys on Saturday night, and they said that they were still in this game, but Ballarat's ability to stay structurally in the fourth quarter was the difference, and they were able to run away. Yeah,
it was a tied game. After the first bucket in the final quarter. So 9 minutes and 30 or so to go. It was a tied game. And Ballarat went on an 18-2 run. Started 9 and zip, then they put on 9 and 2 more from there. And this guy, Josh Fox, I felt he was the difference. We'll talk more about him in a minute, but you're right. They were real. I mean, they're so well coached. Brandon Joyce does a great job with them at both ends of the floor, and really it was their defence in that fourth quarter. The Cobras came kind of storming back in that third term, tied it up at the start of the fourth, and then Ballarat just got stop after stop after stop and were able to come down and execute. And they're so long and athletic. You know, you look across, they can switch 1 through 4, and they're all long. Sam Short, Kwani, Josh Fox, Jerry Evans Jr., Coleman comes in off the bench. They can all defend at a high level, and they're going to take some beating.
They backed it up on Sunday as well with a fairly comfortable win. In particular, in the second half, they shot particularly well from the three-point line against Eltham. They're undefeated. This time last week, you ruined Bendigo in the women's NBL1 by saying they probably won't lose a game. Do you want to sit here and say the same thing about the men's side?
I'm not going to say that, but they are super impressive.
Yeah.
And Josh Fox is the guy who we haven't really talked about much on this show because naturally we tend to focus on those NBL names.
Yep.
But he was huge. What did he have in this one? 19 and 18. And it wasn't just the numbers as well. The commentators, I thought, did a really good job. They talked about he was a little bit like Mika Vakona in that game. He had more energy than anybody else on the hardwood, and he brought all the intangibles. Every screen landed, every loose ball, he was gobbling it up, and I thought he was the difference maker.
Dingy Kuth, of course, having a really nice start to the year as well. Now, have you played Ballarat yet?
No, we don't play them till, I think, the last game of the season.
Oh,
so
okay, well...
I think that's suits well for us.
Okay, and Kilsyth you have seen...
Yeah, we had.
What do you make of Kilsyth? And they're still second on the ladder right now, but what do you make? Are they a team that, not to say obviously lost a couple of games now, but when you look at the top teams and the unfortunate poor record you've had so far, you still think that they're gettable from a Melbourne Tigers point of view?
I think they are. You know, when we played against them, they didn't have Isaac Turner, who is a massive part of them. But we didn't have Dane either, and Jack Purchase, who were adding this week, we didn't have him either. And we were down 5 points with 5 minutes to go. So I think that's a positive to take out of that game. It did end up 20, which is, you know, a bit more than we probably would have liked. But I think they're definitely gettable towards the end of the season when we start stringing some wins together and start, you know, putting together what we have on the floor. But, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'm not sure how much of the NBL1 show you actually watched, but this time last week, Liam Santamaria sat here and looked down the barrel of the lens and said, look, Bendigo women aren't losing a game. And I said, no, they'll get beaten this week by Geelong. Now, what I've actually heard, it's filtered back to me, Dave Herbert, the coach of Geelong, wrote it on the whiteboard in the dressing room. And to everyone involved in Geelong Supercats, and I even got involved on Twitter over the course of the weekend to point out that I was right. Because I don't want to be tarred.
You were right, Cam.
I don't want to be tarred with the same brush.
I
don't need clubs putting me under Liam Santamaria's quotes that are motivating teams. It's not the NBL1 show that thought you were going to lose Dave and the girls. It was Liam Santamaria. I had full confidence you're going to go on the road and get the job done.
Yeah.
Either which way, I didn't think they'd do it the way they did because they were outstanding from the opening.
They sure were. Hats off. Not only was I wrong, I was way off.
I tagged you in the live stream on Twitter, and then Bendigo went on a slight little run. I thought about deleting it, but I hung tough, girl. So
way
thank
off.
You.
Geelong came out and they were awesome, and they were you could see they were just way more motivated.
Yep.
And at one point, I mean, this wasn't a close game. Yeah, okay, Bendigo came back a little bit late, and it looked like it was going to become interesting. It was still double figures at that time. It was a 26-point ball game at one point in the second half. So they absolutely smashed them. And on Bendigo's home floor. So it was a statement win, no doubt about it. His two girls I want to highlight in particular. They were all really good. Blick Avs and the whole squad were really good. But Ezzy McBeggar and Jazz Shelley were unbelievable. Let's start with Ezzy McBeggar because her matchup with Richards was elite. And she played it so smart. Richards didn't guard her in the opening half from the perimeter. McBeggar traditionally hasn't been a terrific outside threat, but she's been working on it. And look at this. She just won't guard it, dares her to shoot, and time after time in the first half, she just knocked it down. She said, all right, come guard me, or I'm just going to give you buckets. And look, she just square up. All right. Said, oh, no, hold on, I'm not quite open enough. Step back. All right, now I'll knock it down. And then at halftime, they went into the sheds, and Megan Moody clearly told Richards, get out and guard her. You got to respect her. And she just did this time and time again throughout the second half. Ended up with 30 and 8. Richards had what? Something like 20 and 12, 22 and 12, something like that. But McBeggar torched her. And
now, this is the big thing that we continue to talk about each week, because I still think Geelong will win it. I said my pre-season prediction they'll win it, and I stand by it. If the team is still there.
Yeah.
So this is the thing, because of course Shelley's another one.
She's going off to Oregon.
She's not here for the playoffs?
I don't know.
That's the big question for me. So
there are already girls heading off. There's a girl from Dandenong who's head off to start her collegiate career. Jazz Shelley, roll the vision on Jazz Shelley. She was incredible, 26 points and 7 triples.
I'm
50%.
I'll watch this all day, but I said in our pre-season show she's the best shooter in the competition. I stand by it. Look at this.
They just found her, and
not sure if she had my words echoing in her ear there, but I could understand if she had them.
Now a lot of it came. Look, it's McBeggar twice. It begins with
that barely hits the net. That's a lot.
The ball's gone through McBeggar, obviously, but also. There she is starting the break, and then eventually it comes to Shelley and she's open. But Bendigo, they were a step off it defensively. Now, something to point out: no Nadine Payne. Yeah. I'm missing someone else who is a key part of their rotation as well, Becca Tobin. So bring those two girls back in, and Bendigo will be much better. And I hope we get to see them face off in the postseason. Now,
NBL1 and the women's side of it as well. We see Jenna O'Hea, who's played the last couple of weeks for Melbourne as well. And we are selfish. We're in neutral, where we love to see superstars play in these leagues and continue to see them in our backyard. But she is not only for all basketball fans, but for the Melbourne Tigers in the NBL1 women's competition. She's huge, and she was dominant again on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you watch that game, that Melbourne game. I watched both of their games on the weekend, and it was just. Like, if me and Dane were actually talking about it in the change rooms after the game, like if we had a boomer, like a current boomer playing in the NBL1, like that's exactly what it is. Like, she just came out there, she did whatever she wanted, when she wanted, shoots the ball at a high clip, gets to the rim when she wants, gets to the free throw line. And
well, in this one, she had 32 and 12 in a big win over Ringwood. And in the win over Diamond Valley, she had 29 points, 8 boards, 3 dimes, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. She's a cut above the rest.
And as you touched on as well, she can get any shot she wants at any time. And the fact she's got so much range, as we were seeing on the previous one, and look at that's a little 1 foot off to the sort of fading left of the 1 footer. She can have any shot she wants, and the fact that she has range from anywhere allows her to do whatever almost she wants. It makes them tough. It makes them very tough.
Well, we talked about alongside Conti and Tomlinson. Tomlinson had a nice weekend as well, 21-11 in that win over Ringwood. Guess who they played this week? Geelong.
Geelong will win.
Put it on the whiteboard.
Yeah, put it on the whiteboard. I may actually the Melbourne team.
Put it on the whiteboard.
I think Geelong will beat them, but that definitely makes them legit. Just talking about Jenna O'Hea.
Yeah.
This MVP chat, and now we're 7-8 rounds into this thing. We're going to start to get excited about MVP, and that's the thing. 18 teams in each of their respective men's and women's competitions, but now we're starting to see who's playing well, who are the surprise packets, or someone like a Jenna O'Hea who doesn't surprise us when she comes in and plays so well. But that MVP discussion with the depth in the NBL1 and the women's side of it's going to be outstanding, as we might just put up a little graphic there. Who we got there? Who would you have right now as the MVP? Obviously, Jenna O'Hea's played a little less games than probably the rest of them, but as it stands right now, you've got Beck Cole, who has missed some games through Opals and
No. Beck Cole is far above everybody else at this point.
Yes. Well, she played enough games, because when she joined us on the show, she said she might miss 7 or 8. It's not enough to hurt her MVP credentials?
It's an interesting one, because the way this system works is a game-by-game voting system.
Yes.
Each of the coaches go 3-2-1. Coaches voting for their own players, which I don't like. And the refs. Together as a unit, they go 3-2-1 as well. So you can get, a max 9 votes from each game. So, yeah, every time you miss a game, that's going to count against you. But Beck Cole would have been getting 3s from everybody in almost every one of those wins. Now, Jenna's going to do
the same,
something similar, but Dandenong, they're going to win. They're 8-1, obviously. Kelly Wilson's going to have been getting a whole bunch of votes as well. Someone who's not on that graphic, who perhaps should be, is Lauren Scherf from the Knox Raiders. Well, she's putting up 24 and 9 at 54%. They've actually been losing the games when she's been playing, but maybe not this week, but previously. But she's been playing really well.
No Geelong. None of my Geelong girls up there as well. But they were a team performance, all right. Are you leading the MVP in the men's, you think?
Probably not.
Maybe second.
Poz wants to know where the men's graphic
Yeah,
graphic
Nah,
is.
it's
I don't
interesting.
need to see that.
Can we get a graphic?
Yeah, I know. I'll tell you
As
what.
long as
Just
you don't
for
put the ladder up,
obviously,
it's fine.
we've got Luke Sakari at the back doing a wonderful job. But if you have a special guest, you traditionally got to steer the graphics towards, and you've got to try and slip them in, even if they're only averaging a couple of points, but which wouldn't be the case here. All right, this weekend, who are you got?
Hold on. Can we talk about? I want to talk about Steph Reed. 50 points last week. 5 points
10 assists,
this week.
7 steals.
10 assists, 7 steals last week. 5 points. But don't be confused.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
No. She got injured. I want to flag it. She got injured at the start of the second half.
Still don't want to bring it up though, because our very special guest might start to think there's an NBL1 Show curse.
Well, I think
because she
there
was
is.
in his very shot last week.
I think there is an
Don't say
NBL1
that.
curse.
It's going to hurt us
Don't
get
say
guests.
that. Yeah.
Which Eastern Suburbs Melbourne team did we talk about maybe 2 weeks ago and say they're about to go on a little bit of a run? They got a win over Eltham at home. Mark Worthington was sitting here. Didn't you call that game?
Men's or women's we talking?
Men.
Oh, both. I call both games.
In overtime.
You're talking about Ringwood?
They're 0-4 since then. We flagged that they actually had a tough schedule, and the rest of their games in the next little while were against sort of lower teams, and they just haven't been able to get a win ever since.
They lose 2 on the weekend or just the 1?
2. They've lost 4 in a row.
Who'd they lose to on the weekend?
They lost
Well,
to Waverley.
You beat them, didn't you? Did you beat Ringwood on the weekend?
Waverley
Yeah,
and
we
Melbourne.
did.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And Waverley, they lost to Waverley as well. Waverley just quietly doing quite well, 5-3.
Oh, there you go. You're going to curse them now. All right, who you got this week?
Geelong.
All right. Thoughts? Have you seen much of them? Have you watched much film?
Yeah, we played them in pre-season. They're pretty tough. They always have, DeMarcus Gatlin, who's ex-MVP of the league, playing really well. I think he had 36, 37 in one of the games on the weekend. They've got another really good import point guard, Lewis Thomas, who was with Adelaide this year as a training player, and then they just kind of have all their stalwarts around from Geelong, and they're a really well-coached team. So it'll be really, really tough ask for us, but I think we're up for the challenge.
Who do you guard?
Depending on the matchups, I'll probably either guard Thomas or Gatlin.
Gatlin, they just had a 1-point win over Albury Wodonga. Had 32 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists and 6 steals.
Hey, good luck.
Thanks.
Hey, just on that, you have mentioned a couple of times Jack Purchase, of course, been at the University of Hawaii the last 4 years, comes in this weekend, of course, and such a talented junior as well. And as his game has evolved, and I think a lot of us have watched in the last few years over there, you just expect him just to be able to slip in. You're obviously extremely smart basketball-wise as well, so just slip in and be able to continue to work in positively what you've been able to the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think just his style of play will really fit us well. Just to have that extra body on there. He's like 6'8", 6'9", really long. That'll help us on the defensive end, and to have that proper 4-man in there as well, because we've had a few of our backup guys injured in the bigs. So to have someone there with Dane, rather than just a 2-3 that's just trying to be a 4-man, I think that'll really help Dane, and then I think he'll just pretty fit seamlessly into our offense. He knows the offenses. He's been at Melbourne Tigers since he could walk. So yeah.
All right, before we do let you go, a couple of things. Firstly, games you're looking forward to this weekend, any news kicking around?
Well, Melbourne and Geelong, I think, in the men and the women are both interesting matchups. That'll be interesting at MSAC on Saturday night. And I'll be at Dandenong for the Dandenong Nunawading games. So in the men, that's 7 versus 3. And I feel like the Nunawading men are maybe just off the boil a little bit this season, so that'll be.
Didn't Simon Conn give us 33 and 16 last week?
Yeah, he did. They bounced back with a win over Southern. That's good, but I just don't think they're quite what they were.
We flagged this.
I was all over them at the start of the pre-season, but I've had a good look at them.
And I remember I flagged it because of the 3x3.
Yeah,
they're going to miss that.
It's impacting.
The key components of the 3x3 Australian, the best ranked guys for a long time play for Nunawading. And
in the women, that's 2nd versus 4th, and the Nunawading women are on a 5-game win streak. Okay. Izzy Chilcott just killing it. She was clutch in their win over Knox 2 weeks ago, and on the weekend she had 22 and 12 in their win over the Sabres. A couple of quick shout-outs.
Yeah, just quickly. So who are you cursing this week?
Everyone.
Yeah, it seems to be the case.
Dyson Daniels. The youngster from Bendigo, Ricky Daniels' son, 16, maybe
he's tough.
16-year-old, has been invited to participate in the NBA Global Camp in Monaco. So he heads there later this month. That's,
Monaco?
Yeah.
It's a strange place for an underage camp.
It's for all the parents that are going to roll along.
Yeah.
Couple of other quick shout-outs. Beck Cole, we flagged her just before in the MVP conversation. 37 points in less than 24 minutes. in one of their wins on the weekend.
What'd they win by?
Well, they won by a whole bunch.
Yeah, they
over
did.
Launceston. Everyone's smacking Launceston at the moment.
Too unselfish, Beck Cole. She should have said, look, give me a 60. I've got a 60 in me.
I got a
We
60.
said the same thing to Steph Reid last week. If you got a 60 in you, you go for 60. Keep that in mind this weekend.
The Ballarat Rush.
Yes.
The women.
First
the
win.
men have been playing so well. What are they? 7 and zip. Their women got their first win of the season.
Who'd they beat?
Over the Wildcats.
Well, from where?
Eltham.
It's funny this. I raise this every week because first show of the year, Eltham had a nice start to the year and Liam refused to buy into it and said, strength of schedule, they're no good.
Yeah.
And
I was right.
they've actually been a little disappointing.
And the last
Although Chelsea swears, love watching her play because she just shoots it from the three-point line.
I'm putting a little call out to the Diamond Valley Eagles in the women as well. Arnolie Maley, we're all over her at the start of the season. She was great.
Yep.
She had a really good weekend, just then put up some big numbers. They're on a 6-game losing streak. Jonathan Goodman coaching out there, they need to turn it around.
Who they got this week?
And they have 2 tough games this week.
So
You got Lauren Nicholson and the Cobras. And they have McBeggar and Shelley and the like for the Supercats. But here's what I'm saying. They need to pull off one upset this week. They need to split this weekend. Because an 8-game losing streak, they're starting to get in sort of Cairns Taipans type territory.
Hey, for my girls, the Supercats, can you say they're going to lose to Diamond Valley on Sunday? No, you're going to show, yeah?
Yep.
Hey, thanks for coming in, big fella.
No worries, thanks
Great
for
start
having
to the
me.
year, mate.
No,
Keep
boss.
it up.
Thanks, mate. Ciao, mate.
On that note, NBL1, you can check it all out on YouTube, all the games, of course. We're going to see game of the week this week between Dandenong and Nunawading. Liam Santamaria to call that. Who are you calling it with?
To know.
Okay.
Were they maybe?
Maybe, all right. Should have probably asked that before that. Anyway, we're getting out of here. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at NBL1 to get involved, at NBL1 HQ. See you next week.